let's get into the comments, questions, etc.
Alrighty, so Mr. Drinkwater has a question. He says, how long should you plan on the live being?
So the live, I don't want to set a time limit to it. I would say that you got to look at it like this. The first, if you're looking for live viewers, eyeballs wise, the first few minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, you're not going to get the most eyes on it because people are busy. They get the notification. They remember it. Think about like you have a meeting set for 1 o'clock. So many people are like, oh, sorry, my previous meeting overran. So you're not going to get that many people that show up immediately once the live starts unless they have it booked and they're actually attentive to their calendar. So therefore, you would want it to go a little bit longer. So I'd say maybe 20, 30 minutes would be ideal. But if you're like, Kyle, I don't have 30 minutes worth of stuff to talk about, even if you can break it down into 15 minutes, keep in mind that replay is going to live there on social and on YouTube. And as long as you chop up the content and you continue to push it out there, it'll get more eyes on like, oh, this person's creating this live content. That's cool. Somebody asks a question, etc. Then they get engagement and they're answering questions live. That's what it's all about. So the first couple of times, if you want to make it short, 10, 12, 15 minutes, there really is no limit on it. I would say don't go longer than an hour, which is something that we try and avoid. But most of our lives are in like the 20 to 30 minute range to start. And then we go up from there. So you really need that amount of time to deliver as much value as possible and to be able to also wait for the engagement from the audience to come to the live and ask a question.
Alrighty, and then Sai has a question, and she asks, how long does it take a company to build an audience through virtual events, do you think?
Yeah, so I would say that it could take a long time depending on how much effort you put into it. So if you have a team that's putting a lot of effort into it, it could happen in 3 to 6 months. But you have to first have a brand that has some sort of audience. So all of the people in manufacturing have some sort of brand awareness and audience. One of our clients has like 20, 30, 40,000 followers on LinkedIn on their company page. So they already have brand awareness. Now, are those people engaging on every single post or super active followers? Probably not. But they already have an audience. So we're trying to say, hey, to get attention from that audience, do something live, do a webinar, provide value, education, entertainment, and you can get them to buy into your brand. So usually you already have some existing brand awareness out there. For a brand new company, so like when I started out, we were probably 4 or 5 years old as an agency. When I started doing more live content, we basically started from nothing. We had 500 subscribers or followers on our YouTube. 500 followers on our LinkedIn page. I maybe had 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. Grown a lot since then, but it's all about, we started from scratch and built it up quickly because it was about consistency. Number one, the content has to be good and educational. Number two, you have to be consistent with it. Number three, you have to continue to chop up that content and post it out there so people know this person is creating valuable content. I'm learning from them. I want to tell my friends it's worth my time. So those three factors in, but you can get an audience pretty quick. I'd say 3 to 6 months of consistently doing it, especially if you're doing it weekly. You can build up stuff quick as long as the topics are good and you're providing value.
All right, and we have a question from Reed Rayberg, and he says, what are some tips for doing a live presentation when you're not getting instant audience feedback?
Yeah, so I would say the tip would be don't focus on the audience feedback. Just focus on delivering your content and pretend like you're talking to a group of people. So I've become very trained because I've done so many of these where I continue to look at the lens regardless of distractions and people walking around the office. But I've done so many lives where people just don't provide any feedback, and that's fine. I don't take it personal. So you want to try and just pretend like you're talking to a group of people. And then if you do get somebody that asks a question live or engages live, then that's triple bonus. But I would just say treat it as if you're in a conference room with other people. And you're like, hey guys, I want to talk to you, potential customer. I want to talk to you about how these things can help solve these issues that some of you are probably already dealing with. And so if you look at it from that approach of I'm going to go and try and give this presentation, which could be strictly educational, it doesn't have to be pitching your product or your service. I'm going to give this presentation. I'm going to pretend like this lens that I'm staring at is a group of people in a room, in a conference room. I'm going to try and provide them with value, but you obviously can't ask questions. You can't say, you just have to reframe your mindset. Instead of saying like, hey guys, what are the top 3 issues that you're having in your shop right now with your cutting tool? And then they're like, oh, okay, we're having these issues. And then you're going to go from there. You would then have to change it and say, hey, here's the top 3 things that we've come across in this industry of aerospace with this type of application, and then you walk through it from there. You want to focus less on looking at a script. You want to try and just have short points to say, talk about this, talk about that, and be able to just talk through it live, not worrying to mess up, but look at it as like the first time I did it, I was like, I'm just going to pretend like I'm pitching to a group of people, or I'm pitching to people through a Zoom call. So I'm looking at a lens, talking to them as if they were there. And then if I get live questions, then it's just a double bonus.
Alrighty, and we have a question from Zach Russell, and he asks, how often would you suggest streaming if you're just starting out?
So it's kind of up to you. Come on in, Laura. Laura's back in the studio, and is Shelly. So I would say it depends, up to you. Oh, did you switch cameras? Yeah. Can they even see her? There she is. Laura's back from all her meetings. So the way my mindset is, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go hard, and I push this team to certain levels of uncomfortableness. I'm sure Riley can tell stories for days of requests that I've had asked of him. But I would say, ideally, if you can do it weekly, that is a great place to end up. If you're like, I'm so busy and I don't know if it's going to work and I want to ease into it, then you could say every 2 weeks, maybe it's once a month. But I would say look at once a month, every 2 weeks, to every week, to multiple times per week. Multiple times per week would be amazing. Worst case, once a month. So something in between. It depends on the resources you have, the time you have, the topic and content you have to talk about, and how much effort you can put into it. But I'm personally a fan of, if you're going to do something, go all in, commit to it. Say, I'm going to do this once a week, and hold yourself accountable to that, and just start doing it.
We'll see if any more questions pop in, but to end on a sweet note, Sai says you are her best inspiration.
Let's go, Sai. I appreciate that. Sai hasn't been on lives for a while. She put a comment saying that she's back. I think that maybe she graduated school. I know she's going to college in, I think, Ohio, Sai, if that's correct. Is that even how you say your name, Sai? Is that how you would say it, Riley? Sai? That's how I would say it. Sai, Sai. Let us know if we're pronouncing your name wrong. I think that she just graduated from college with a degree in marketing. She's looking to get into industrial. Unfortunately, she lives in someplace in Ohio, I think. Riley and I were just in Cleveland at the Precision Metal Forming Association's district leadership conference. That's a mouthful. Like, what was that, 3 weeks ago, Riley? It was like the last week of June, I think. Good old Cleveland. Can't wait to go back to Cleveland. Love it there.
Sai says she is graduating this week.
Oh, Sai, congratulations to Sai for graduating. You have an accomplishment over me. I never did that. Either or. So if you guys are looking for somebody in marketing that is just consuming this content, reach out to Sai, because she is engaging, always asking questions, she sent me messages saying that she's learning a lot and she really wants to focus on this industry. So if you guys are looking for somebody in marketing that's fresh, that's consuming this content and wants to do stuff like this, reach out to Sai in your private messages. If you guys got value out of the content, hit the subscribe button below, turn on notifications. If you're not already following me on LinkedIn, head over there, give me a follow. And if you want to listen to this in podcast, every major podcast platform has industrial sales and marketing with me. I'll see you on the next one.